Hello snowboarders of the internet, I'm your host Avran LeFeber, and in this video we're going to be reviewing the Rome Artifact. This board features Rome's Stay Positive camber profile, which is just good old-fashioned traditional camber. So from contact point to contact point you have that arc of traditional camber. That is going to give you all the load, pop, snap, and drive of this board. This board is available in 147, 150, 153, 156, 152 wide, 155 wide. I rode this board at Copper Mountain on a day that had overcast skies with patches of blue, consistent winds, chopped chunder, ice, and perfect groomers, and I rode it with my Rome Black Label bindings and my K2 Thraxis boots. The overall flex of this board comes in just below a middle-of-the-road park flex, so what you get is softer tips, no surprise, slightly stiffer midsection, with an abundance of torsional flex to it. Basically, this board's playful. When it comes to stability, that softer flex in the tips is going to allow that chatter to resonate, because you are going to get chatter. And the most stable section is through the inserts. Now, I'm not saying that you're going to be able to just plow through chop and chunder and rutted out terrain with ease. What I'm saying is, be aware that you can get bucked with this board because it's a softer flex. What's nice about the snap in this board is that it is easily predictable. You can be calculated and really loaded up and get a ton of boost, or you can be a little more laid back and still be pleased with the response you get out of this board. You are going to have to load the camber up to engage it, and then you've got that bamboo rod in the nose and the tail for your ollies and nollies, so when you roll back, that's going to engage, and that's an additive that's going to give you a little bit more snap. Like I said, you can be calculated, so that way you know how much load you're putting in and how much pop you're going to get, or you can be laid back and just snap at the last minute with it. That's the beauty of how soft these tips are, is that even when you're loading it up, you're not really fighting it. Now, there is a lot of rebound. Like I said, you're not fighting it, but it wants to get up in the air. When it comes to jumps, small to medium features are really its strong suit. Sure, you could hit something bigger if you're really feeling wily, but it's the small to medium. I mean, it's a jib stick through and through. It's going to get the job done. This board pops off the lip with ease. It's got enough snap to make it past the knuckle, so that way you're landing in the sweet spot, because you never want to land in the knuckle, even though there's some people that'll tell you that the knuckle is the sweet spot. I don't know why they do this, but they're idiots. And it's solid. It's just a solid, well-balanced jib board with snap. So there's two things you need to know about this board when it comes to buttering. It's camber, and it's got rods in the tips. You need to leverage your weight outside the inserts and really push into the contact points in the nose and the tail to get it to engage. And when you do, you're going to feel that rod as it flexes want to fight you and put the board back down or pop out. Be aware of that. If you know how to butter, you're not going to have a problem. If you don't, it's time to learn. All you guys that have been riding flat to rockers, flat and reverse camber, this board makes you actually work for it. And it's solid. It's very, very solid when you butter on it. I also like the fact that you've got that double kick tip and tail in there. That really lets you leverage over and get up on it and get weird. Now, when it comes to jibbing, this is where this board truthfully shines. No surprise, it's a jib stick. It's been in the Rome lineup for almost as long as they've been a company, and this is where it shines. You're going to be able to press into those sweet spots in the nose and the tail and feel it really lock in, and then that rod is going to pop right as you hit the end, and you're going to be able to snap out over the landing totally fine if you know what you're doing. If you don't, you're probably going to die. That doesn't matter. When you go sideways, this board slightly claps out if you come down hard. If you're hitting a smaller feature, it's more or less going to caress around it. That natural bend of the camber really does help it cradle around the feature. This board can do just about any jib variation you want. This board has a slightly sluggish edge-to-edge power transmission. You notice that right away. It's not as snappy and as responsive as the Pro version, which has more carbon in it. Basically, when you get it on edge, it locks in, and it's got enough power to do park carves, i.e., laying a trench around a fat skier that's in your way, or setting up. But realistically, it's a mellow cruiser. It's just doing mellow park carves and letting you get from one feature to the other. It's not something you're going to go out and just rail hard, aggressive carves with all the time. Who's this board for? The jib rat that likes camber. So since the last time I rode it, nothing's actually changed in this board at all. The only reason I really wanted to ride it was to prepare myself for riding the Pro version so that I could compare the differences in it. I like the double kick tip and tail in it. That's awesome. It's a predictable ride. The camber is easy to engage. Overall, it is what it is. Personally, I believe I'm a Pro artifact guy. I just like the fact that it's got a little more snap and rebound to it. It's just a little more reactive, but this is still a very solid jib board. Comparable boards: the Yes Jackpot, the Ride Kink, the K2 World Peace. Binding recommendations: the Rome Vice, the Now Brigade, the Burton Malavita. This has been my review of the Rome Artifact. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you own one? Are you going to buy one? Leave me a comment down below. Let's have a conversation about this snowboard. If you're new here, remember to subscribe. Click the bell, get those notifications, that way you're not missing any of the videos we got coming out for all you snowboarders of the internet. And if you really like what we're doing over here and you want to support us further, swing on over to Angry Snowboarder VIP and become a member. Sure, I could tell you more here, but I got a video over there that explains it so much better. As always, I've been your host, Avran LeFeber, and I'll see you in another video.